The January transfer window may be done and dusted, but for Middlesbrough, there's still the prospect of losing one of their key players. Matt Crooks is the man who's been in all of the papers on Thursday morning with reports linking him with a move to the MLS. And Real Salt Lake are the club who are said to be leading the chase as they look to strengthen their squad ahead of the new MLS campaign. And it's left Middlesbrough in a rather tricky position as we move into the second half of the season. Now, Crooks is a player who has been brilliant for Michael Carrick so far this season. He scored 5 goals and 6 assists in 31 appearances this season. Even in those months during the autumn when Middlesbrough weren't really performing as they potentially should have been or could have been, we were struggling in the bottom half of the table and things just weren't really clicking. Crooks was the player who was providing those moments of quality, and so I think in a lot of in the eyes of a lot of Middlesbrough fans, he's someone who we really owe quite a lot to. Obviously, over the last 3 seasons, he joined us in the summer of 2021. He's made 115 appearances for the club and scored 23 times in the process. Obviously, he scored that historic goal at Old Trafford in the FA Cup as well. So there's been plenty of moments. Obviously, there's plenty of songs about him in the stand, and people just absolutely love Matt Crooks. But it seems like his time at the Riverside Stadium could well be coming to an end. Now, in terms of the midfielder situation, so he currently has 18 months left on his contract at the Riverside Stadium. Obviously, moving into the second half of the season, there's no chance of him moving to another club in England during the January transfer window. That's been and gone, and to all intents and purposes, it looked like he was going to be sticking around at the club. He was going to be someone who we would be looking to get some more quality performances from in the coming months as we look to secure a spot in the top six. But this opportunity has come from America. It seems from reports and from what Michael Carrick's been saying earlier on today that it's an opportunity which really appeals to Matt Crooks and is potentially one that he wants to explore. Now, what's been said is that Crooks is going to travel over to America in the coming days to go and explore this opportunity to discuss terms over a move and to see what sort of happens. Seemingly, that would rule him out of the match against Bristol City this weekend, and it could mean that he's already made his last appearance for Middlesbrough. So, speaking to Middlesbrough's club website, Michael Carrick spoke about the interest in Matt Crooks and said Matt's going to travel over to America in the next day or two. I think every situation is different, and for this one, it's an opportunity for him and his family, one that he wanted to explore. We respected that, and while it's not done at this time, we will see how it develops. I like to think that we've got really good options with Riley McGree and Sammy Silvera back and Manu Laugh not far away. I do feel like the players that we've got good balance. I've got a lot of faith in the boys, whoever plays. Now, that's going to be the interesting question on a lot of supporters' lips. So, if Matt Crooks does leave Middlesbrough, um, it does feel quite likely based on those comments, and these kind of reports don't tend to come out on official club channels unless there's some serious legs in them. It does seem like he is going to be someone who will move on. And what does that do for Middlesbrough squad going into the coming weeks? Now, Middlesbrough did strengthen in January. They brought in Finn Azaz, who is a player who can play off the left flank. He can play in that number 10 role. And so seemingly there is a replacement in place there for Matt Crooks if he does kind of move on. But given that Middlesbrough didn't sign a striker over the summer, um, not over the summer, sorry, during the January transfer window. It does seem like a move which could potentially leave Middlesbrough just that little bit short of quality in those attacking areas. Matt Crooks is someone who, yes, he plays as a number 10. He can play more in more of a deep role in central midfield, but he can also be used in that sort of almost like a false nine kind of position because of his excellent finishing ability and his ability to hold up the ball and his first touch and that sort of thing. But it kind of leaves Middlesbrough in a situation where they have a bit of a lack of proven quality in that final third. I think Matt Crooks, um, by all means, he's not a perfect player. He does lack a little bit of pace at times. His first touch is brilliant. His passing is often good. But it's more a case with Crooks that you kind of know what you are going to be getting from him, which is not really the case with a lot of the other attacking players who are at the club. Now, someone like Finn Azaz, he's come in, he's made a couple of appearances, and obviously it's very, very early days for him. We haven't really seen the best of him in his first couple of games. He did fairly well against Millwall, but we've seen what he did when he was at Plymouth. So we know that there's a player in there. It's going to take him a little bit of time to get himself up to speed. Um, Someone like Sammy Silvera, he was starting to find his feet before he went away on Asian Cup duty with Australia. But again, he's a player who's learning and growing and adapting to what it's like in the Championship. So he's someone that we probably can't rely on a week to week basis. Riley McGree is going to be an interesting one with him because it's easy to forget that at the start of the season he was probably Middlesbrough's best player. Those first few weeks, he's the player that Middlesbrough went through for absolutely everything. He was a key player. He was a key player last season, but that injury has kind of disrupted his season as far as his time at the Riverside Stadium's gone. Now he's back fit. He's been playing for Australia at the Asian Cup, and he's going to come back. So it'll be interesting to see how he fits back into the plans, how he adapts back to life in the Championship, and so that's going to be quite an interesting one. But then you've got people like Izzy Jones, and we know what we get from him. We've got Sam Greenwood, a player who has blown hot and cold at times this year, and so for me, I think losing Matt Crooks could be a real blow. Just as someone who the player that Middlesbrough fans know what to expect. He's someone who has played in the Championship for a number of years. He knows the league inside out, and he's just a really consistent presence at this level. And so I think losing him for the second half of the season, I think it's going to spark a lot of questions about what Middlesbrough are going to be aspiring to do this season. We are 4 points off the playoffs at the moment. Obviously, that will continue to be the goal. That'll be the target that Middlesbrough will be looking to achieve before the end of the season. But with so many clubs competing in those spots, it does kind of feel that allowing Matt Crooks to leave to go to the MLS would be a sign of maybe looking to the future, maybe looking slightly further ahead than just the first few months in these next few months as we gear towards the playoffs. We have kind of seen that a little bit in terms of the January transfer window and the lack of striker coming into the club. Michael Carrick was very clear that they didn't want to bring in striker just for the sake of it to hamper the development of players like Josh Coburn and Latte Lath. And that's the reason that no one came into the club. And it feels like this could be a similar sort of move. If Middlesbrough were hell bent on getting into the playoffs this season, surely they'd be wanting to keep a player like Crooks at the club, someone who knows the league, someone who will put in some big performances in the coming months. But it seems like he's going to be allowed to leave. That means that Middlesbrough will be able to recoup a fee. There's been reports that Middlesbrough will receive a substantial fee from Real Salt Lake if he does complete his move there. So there will be a little bit of money to go into Middlesbrough's pocket, which is great. Obviously, Crooks, as I mentioned before, is in the final 18 months of his contract. So there is that sort of depreciating value side of things as well. If we want to sell him now or in the summer, his value would continue to drop, and then we'd risk losing him for nothing as well. And for Middlesbrough, who are obviously looking to raise funds, to have money there to reinvest in the squad moving forward, it's very very important to do that. So it's a really interesting move. This one, I think for me, Crooks has been a brilliant servant for Middlesbrough, and if he and his family do want to explore the opportunity, I feel like it's an opportunity which works out well for all parties. He clearly wants to do so, and that's a great chance for him to play in America. That'd be brilliant for him. As far as Middlesbrough are concerned and Michael Carrick are concerned, I don't really feel like Matt Crooks is a player who fits into Carrick's plans long term. He's put in some brilliant performances this season, as I've mentioned. He would be important in the second half of the season, but once again, I do feel like as we got to the summer, he maybe would be the sort of player that Middlesbrough would look to cash in on and potentially replace with another player, or having already done so with Finn Azaz. It does feel like Matt Crooks' time at Middlesbrough might be coming to an end from that point of view anyway. So as far as the opportunity comes, a player's career is short, and so if he does get that move to America, and the chance for a fresh start and a fresh opportunity, Middlesbrough are relatively well stocked in that attacking area. Whether the players are capable of putting in the performances week in, week out is a completely different matter. But we do have those players there, and we are building for the future. And it does feel like Middlesbrough are kind of prioritising the Sammy Silveras and Finn Azaz and Sam Greenwood and those kind of players who could well be the future of Middlesbrough's attacking line in the years to come. So I think, as far as I'm concerned, a great move for Matt Crooks if it does come off. The best of luck to him. It will be a real shame because there's not many players at Middlesbrough at the moment who you can really regard as a true fan's favourite, but Max Crooks certainly falls into that category. And so if he does move on, it would certainly be with the best wishes of everyone at Middlesbrough Football Club and everyone in the stands. And yeah, here's hoping that the Middlesbrough can find someone to step up and fill that mantle of being the true fans' favourite. Maybe after Marcus Force's goal at the weekend, he could be someone who could step up. He's a very popular figure in attack, but we only time will tell. So yeah, if you have enjoyed this video, please do hit like, please do hit subscribe. It's been a little bit ad hoc, hence the stumbly nature of it. But if you have enjoyed it, do all of those things, and I will catch up with you very soon.